Howdy all and welcome back to Immersion Gaming! I hope you're all alright, and I want to firstly apologise for the break that we've had in uploads. Wow, where do I start? So, as some of you might remember if you've watched my previous videos, on the last video I did, I advised you all that there might be a brief lapse in uploading because I was upgrading the Immersion Gaming PC. So basically that's the PC that I use for everything to do with this channel. So I play the games on it, I record the games on it, I record me speaking on it, I edit the videos on it, I upload the videos to YouTube and Facebook on it. Basically it is the beating heart of Immersion Gaming. Everything is done on that PC. So I bought about £500 worth of new parts for it, so a new CPU, a new motherboard, a new water cooling system for it. Basically just upgraded it because the PC itself wasn't bad, you know, it were quite capable of doing everything I needed it to do to a certain degree. So as in gaming, it were fine. It could play all the games and stuff like that. Because the processor that were in it was a Ryzen 5600X. Which is pound to performance one of the best gaming CPUs you can get at the moment. But when it comes to the video editing and all the other things I were doing, it just wasn't quite what I needed. I needed just that bit more. So rather than getting just that bit more in my style of doing things, I got the highest one. So well, not the one below the highest one, which even the highest one is much more than this one. So I got the 5900X. So basically the 5600X that I had is a 6-core 12-thread CPU. For those of you who don't know, a core is like a CPU because all the original CPUs had one core. So a core is a CPU. Well, the one that I had originally had 6 cores and 12 threads. Now threads basically mean each CPU had 2 threads, which means it could do 2 things at once. Some CPUs only have 1 thread, so that in that case it'd be a 6-core 6-thread. That means each core can only do 1 thing at once. So yeah, basically that's just a quick overview of it. I'm not going to go too deep into it because it's not a tech channel, it's a gaming channel. So yeah, my old one had 6 cores, 12 threads, which means it had 6 cores and each core could do 2 things, so 12 threads. This one, the 5900X that I bought, is a 12-core 24-thread. So basically it doubles what my other one was, which just means basically it can do a lot more things at once, which will be a lot better for when I'm doing the video editing and all that sort of stuff. Also, it will help with certain games as well, because certain games are a lot more CPU intensive than they are GPU. In that case, this chip will be a lot better. So yeah, basically that was the upgraded CPU. The problem being that's caused this big delay was the motherboard. So I bought a new motherboard. Now my original board that I've got in my original rig was a B450 Tomahawk Max. And it was a great board. I've had it from new and it's done everything I needed it to do. But it's a B450, it's an older platform. So I thought, right, figure it will go. But instead of just going for the next one up, which was the B550, I went for the X570. The X meaning extreme, which means it's a board that can be overclocked. You can really overclock your CPU and all that and get the most out of it. So it's for enthusiasts basically. Now I'm able to do all that, I know how to do all that, but I don't tend to do it because I don't usually need it. The CPU that I've got and the GPU I've got don't really need overclocking at the moment, you know. It's more for enthusiasts that are just trying to get the maximum out of their chip, but it also means they won't last as long. They'll die quicker when you're doing stuff like that. So yeah, basically I just wanted to get that board so I had that option if I ever needed it. You know, if I ever wanted to do a video about it or all like that. So it was just there if ever needed, but probably won't have ever been used. Anyway, so yeah, I got the X570 board. So I did a video about, like I said I would, of me stripping down the old PC and rebuilding the new PC with all the new parts in it. The video was about 5-6 hours long, because that's how long it takes to strip an old PC down, redo it, clean it all out, clean the case out, clean all the fans out, rebuild the new PC, put it all in properly rerouting all the cables and making sure it's cable managed and everything, it's all tidy so that there's good airflow in case and everything. Which is what should be done when you're doing a proper PC build. especially a gaming PC build that's going to need plenty of airflow and plenty of cooling because they do get really hot. So yeah, it took me about 5-6 hours, only to realise then that once it was built and I've tried getting it working, the PC would boot 1 in every 8 times, and even that one time that it would boot in every 8 times, it was throwing all sorts of blue screens out, all sorts of frigging error messages. It just wasn't right. Now I spent 3 days, and when I say 3 days, I mean 3 days solid. The only time I stopped was to get something to eat, go for a piss, or go to bed. In that I didn't even go out of the house for 3 days. I was in the flat doing that for 3 days solid. Just trying to get it working, because it was blowing my frigging mind. I just couldn't understand all these error messages it were giving. It was giving so many different error messages that I couldn't narrow it down to one thing. It was just something different every time. And by the end of it, it's because the fucking board was faulty. So I spent 3 days of my life that I won't get back because of a faulty frigging motherboard. So anyway, that was the first board. That went back. So I put my rig back together, and I was using that in the meantime while I ordered another motherboard. So this time I ordered, all these boards, by the way, were ordered off eBay, and they were all sold as fully working, 100%, no issues, right? The board one clearly wasn't 100% working with no issues. So I ordered, this time, a B550 Tomahawk. So my original board, bear in mind, was a B450 Tomahawk, like I said. So this time I just ordered the next board up from mine. I didn't bother with the X series, you know, the extreme overclocking, all that bollocks, because that also can throw more issues into the mix when you go in on the X boards, because it throws all sort of compatibility issues and extra settings in BIOS and all that sort. So I thought, just to narrow it all down and cut out any extra bollocks that might happen, because I'm not bothered now, you know, I was that pissed off that I'd spent 3 days doing that. Just cut it all out, no more messing, just go straight up to the board that's the next up from mine, the B550 Tomahawk. I know they work, I enjoyed using the B450, so let's just go straight with that. So I bought a B450 Tomahawk, gets that back. Sits my PC down again, gets that one in, nothing. Didn't even power on, didn't boot, did nothing. The board was completely dead. Nothing at all though, no lights, no signs of life. Didn't even power the CPU, the PSU on when you power the board on. Usually when you power a motherboard on, the PSU comes alive. The fan and everything in the PSU comes alive. That's the first thing that will happen when you press the power button. Nothing, not even that. Which means the board is completely dead. Board number 2, that was a fully working board apparently, on eBay. So by this point I'm starting to get really, really fucked off, as you can imagine, because that's 2 boards in a row now, both 100% working boards apparently. So, third board, another MSI, because the Tomahawks, the previous boards I've told you, both MSI. The X570 board were MSI. Right, another MSI board. This time a B550, so the same as the previous faulty one. But instead of going for the Tomahawk, which is what the last one was, I went for the B550 Gaming Plus, which is basically the same board as a Tomahawk, the previous one that I had. Just slightly less, lower clocked memory speeds, which makes no difference at all because Ryzen chips can only go up to about 3800 megahertz anyway. So the Tomahawk board can go up to something like 4400 megahertz or something like that, which is slightly higher than what the Gaming Plus can go, but it doesn't really matter because you can't go that high anyway, so it makes no difference at all. So yeah, the Gaming Plus, it's pretty much the same as the other board, the Tomahawk. So got that one. Builds strips my computer back down, builds the computer back up with this new Gaming Plus board in, and it boots up. So I think, well, finally, we've got a working PC after 2 frigging failure boards that were supposed to be fully working. So gets it all up and running, installs Windows, everything, all seems to be running all right. So it gets to the point then, right, well, I'm going to start plugging all my USB stuff back in, all my dongles, you know, all your normal jazz that you have plugged into your PC. And wait a minute, half my ports aren't working, what's going on here? So there's 2 USB ports on the actual motherboard where you plug your case USBs in, you know, for the USBs that's on your front of your PC case. 2 on thing, they weren't working. They were providing power, but there were no data going through. Same with back USB ports. 3 of the ports on the back wasn't working, that the other ones were. So I'm puzzled then at this point, thinking, well, how can some of them work and some of them not work? You know, what's all that about? So I did some Googling and found out actually these new Ryzen chips, like the chip I've got, half of the USB ports are powered by the chipset on the CPU itself, and the other half are powered by the chipset on the motherboard. So obviously the ones that weren't working were the ones that were powered by the ones on the motherboard. So lo and behold, we've got another faulty fucking motherboard that was sold as a working motherboard. So that's the third board, right? Bear in mind again, all of these boards were sold on eBay as fully working motherboards, and they were all selling for like near 100 quid each, you know, so it's not cheap. These are like £100 boards, second-hand £100 boards, do you know what I mean, that are supposed to be 100% working. So by this time my head is completely going, because this is the third fucking board now, and I've spent over a week and stripped my computer down how many times to rebuild back up with no boarding, you know, it's just getting beyond the joke now. And not only that, you know what really, really pisses me off about all this, right, is fair dues that the boards are faulty, right? Well, they ain't fair dues, but let's just say that, right? But what they need, these scumbags that are selling these frigging motherboards, right, that are supposed to be 100% working, don't realise is that people are then, that buy them, are plugging their £300 CPU into that, £400 or £500 GPU into that, another £150 PSU into that. Do you know that you're plugging all your expensive stuff into this fucking board that's supposed to be working, that clearly isn't, and that could be destroying the other parts that people have got, just so that these little scumbags can make a few extra quid on a board that they're probably selling because it were faulty. And they're trying to pass it off as 100% working, which makes absolutely no sense on any level, because don't they think that when this person buys the board and realises, because they're going to realise that it's faulty, because these are like slight faults that you might get away with someone not noticing, like the second board that just didn't work at all. You know, someone's going to notice that the board isn't working at all, and the third board, obviously they're going to notice that half of the fucking USB ports aren't working. Or were you just hoping that they might not use them ports? It just don't make any fucking sense. Because then obviously that board is then going to get sent back to you. No one's going to keep a board that they've spent £100 for that don't work. You know, it's going to get sent back, and then you're going to get negative feedback as well for selling somebody a faulty board. So that person then is going to give you negative feedback to make sure no one else buys a faulty board off you. It defies all fucking logic to me. It really does. If you've got a faulty board, sell the fucking thing as a faulty board, not as a working board that risks destroying someone else's shit, causes a load of fucking wasted time. I don't get it. And you know, it's not just to do with motherboards. As for a living, I refurbish and I repair laptops. Throughout day, that's what I do for a living. So I buy a lot of laptop parts, and I buy a lot of faulty laptops as well off of eBay and stuff like that, right? And I'd say 60% of them come not as described, in completely different conditions than what people are selling them as. It just blows my fucking mind. And eBay don't seem to give a fuck that people are just blatantly lying on their site and just selling a load of crap and mis-selling it for something that it's not. You know, describing it as something it's not. I just don't get it, and it's fucking riled me for the past 2 weeks. It really has. I've been pissed off all for the past 2 weeks because of all this shit. And that's why I haven't been uploading, because I haven't had the computer to do it, basically. But anyway, rant over, that's what's gone on anyway, so that's why I haven't been uploading any games for the past 2 weeks, because I've been pissing about with the computer, trying to upgrade the PC, basically, for the channel, you know, so that not only will the games run smoother and they'll be better, because don't forget, I'm not only playing the games, but I'm capturing the games with OBS as well, so that puts extra strain on the PC, you know. So yeah, the better PC, then the better money I can put into the PC, the smoother the games will run, and the better they'll be recorded and stuff for you guys to watch. So that's why I'm putting extra money into it, because really, just as a gaming standpoint, without recording them and without having to edit the videos and stuff, the previous PC would have been enough. But because I'm recording the videos as well, and I'm having to edit them on and stuff and like that, that's why I needed to upgrade it and make it better. So I'm just trying to make the PC better for the channel, basically. So anyway, that aside, let's calm down now. Deep breaths. Because yeah, it has really been winding me up for the past couple of weeks, and that's why, like I said, I ain't been uploading. Right, so I've ordered the 4th board now, which will hopefully be in the next few days. So I thought, well, in the meantime, seeing as I'm going to have to be waiting a few days for it to come, and then I'm going to have to build it up as well, have I got any games on my want to play list? Because I've got a list of games that I want to play, that I want to put on the channel. As the only games on there that are quite short that I could finish in a few days, you know, just to put in the channel in the meantime. And there was one, and it's called Road 96. Now, this game, from what I've read, if you Google Road 96, it says something like, it's a game that's set in 1996, which appealed to me straight away because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and I was in my teens in the 90s. There were no mobile phones, there were no internet, there were no Google, there were no frigging YouTube, there were no nothing back in the 90s. It was just people being people and enjoying their lives. There were obviously still the hardships that everybody still suffers with today, but it wasn't all this madness that's going on now, you know, and all this extra pressure to be popular and all that sort of stuff. There were none of that back then. And then obviously when we got into 2000s, we got mobile phones, we got internet, home PCs and all that sort of stuff, and then all the things that came with the PC and the internet then, like YouTube, Google, everything like that, Facebook and all that sort of stuff. But we didn't have any of that in the 90s, so I think that's why I look back on the 90s so favourably, and why I've got some really good memories of the 90s. And so yeah, that intrigued me straight away when it said the game was set in 1996. And it also says that basically you play as a number of different teenagers, so I'm guessing it's going to be done in episodes. A bit like the Telltale games, and each one of these teenagers that you play as is basically missing. So the runaways, basically, that have, because this country that it's all set in is an authoritarian country, so a bit like, I don't know, North Korea, China, Russia, things like that, and it's a collapsing country as well. There's a lot of political turmoil and stuff going on apparently, so the country's basically collapsing in on itself, it's imploding. So a lot of the youth are trying to escape the country, to cross the border and go over and to find refuge in some other country somewhere. A bit like what's pretty much going on in real life. So you play as these runaway teenagers, probably each one per episode, where the aim is to get them to the border, to get out of this authoritarian country. I can never say that word, authoritarian or whatever it is, if you've noticed I ain't saying it right. So now to get from the starting point to the border, you will meet people along the way, and you'll have to make your way there, you know, because you haven't got much money, you're a kid, you're a teenager. So you'll have to get money along the way, you'll meet people, you probably have to hitchhike, get buses, taxi, whatever. I think you can do it however you want, and each choice you make along the way will have a consequence. You know, they all have consequences, the choices. It's a bit like, again, the Telltale games, where each choice and decision you make will have a consequence later in the game. That's pretty much the same in this game apparently. And you meet people as you go along, but you'll meet the same people with each teenager that you play. You'll meet these same people going along, but you'll get to know them in different ways, because each character you play will be a different person. So they'll have, like, whether they get on with them certain people at the meeting will be different with each person and stuff like that. But I think there's also a bigger story along the way as well, that you will get to find out more and more about with each character as you go along. You know, there's like a bigger picture that you only get to find bits and bats out as you go along. So, I mean, that really sounds good to me. I mean, I like the whole idea of you have to get to the border and you meet all these people. I like the old idea of I like the story behind it, of meeting new characters and trying to do what you can and find different ways to get, because I think there's different ways to get over the border as well. So you could be like smuggled. If you can earn enough money as you get into the border, you can pay smugglers to smuggle you across, I think, or there's tunnels, or you can go over mountains. This is just what I've read. So yeah, I mean, as always, I don't read too much before I play a game, because I don't want to spoil it for myself. I don't want to hear any spoilers or out like that. So yeah, I don't know that much, just that bit what I've said, that's all I've read really. So yeah, I mean, that sounds really appealing to me. It does sound good, and like I said, it's not that long. Apparently it can be done in as little as 7.5 hours, but most people that have played it have said it's more likely around 10 hours. It depends what sort of person you are, how long you take, and you know, if you look around to collect everything and stuff like that, which I pretty much do. So we're going to be looking really at around 10 hours, which is fine. That's not a long game by any means, and we should be able to get that done before my parts come when I'm fixing PC. So yeah, that's pretty much it really. So yeah, without further ado, I think I'll let you have a watch of the trailer, see what you think, and then we'll crack on with, I'll get it all wrapped up, get it edited and everything, put it on to Facebook and YouTube, and then we'll crack on with episode 1 of Road 96. So without further ado, here is the trailer for Road 96.
Welcome to Petria.
Compelling, expansive, and powerful. The incredible landscape and culture is so diverse that every time you travel, you'll discover something new. Escape your troubles with the latest approved high-tech entertainment. Stay in stunning 5-star accommodation. Meet friendly locals.
And maybe even a celebrity.
Our beloved President Tyrak welcomes you to our totalitarian paradise.
Where do you think you're going?
Once you've discovered Petria's beauty, you'll never want to leave.
So there you go, that was the trailer for Road 96. So again, I don't choose trailers that are too long. I choose the little short ones that don't really show you much of the game, because again, I don't like spoilers. I think really with games you should just go into it open-minded and take from it what you like without listening to people's opinions and reading people's biased opinions about it, because then you can go into a game already thinking it's going to be shite, you know what I mean? So just go into the game open-minded and see what you think of it yourself. That's what I like to do. So that's why I don't really research the games too much before I play them, because I don't want to know too much about it. And I don't want to watch the big long trailers that show me half of the game, you know, I don't want to do that. So yeah, basically the trailers that I use are the short ones which you've just seen. But it does give you an idea of the art style of the game, and also of the gives you a brief look at the characters and stuff, like some of the characters anyway, doesn't it? So yeah, as I said, I hope it's something that you guys be interested in watching, and if so, I hope you're going to come and join us for episode 1, which hopefully I'll be starting tonight, but you guys will see it tomorrow. So yeah guys, other than that, thanks for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the trailer, and like I said, I hope you're going to come and join us. As always, if you would like to show your support for immersion gaming and help me on this mission, basically, it's a dream that I've always wanted to do, is this channel. I just never had the nuts before to do it, but I finally got the nuts to do it now. And as I said, I'm putting money into it as and when I can afford to do it, in buying better stuff, and I need to buy a better camera next. That's my next mission. But I'm obviously buying better parts for PC and all that sort of stuff. So I'm doing what I can at this side. I'm also working on my confidence level, because as I've told you before, this isn't me. Doing things like this just isn't me. I'm more of a in the background, chilled out, laid back sort of person. I'm not like this where I'm in the public eye on camera and stuff like that. So it was a big challenge for me to do it in the first place, do you know what I mean? And that's probably one of the reasons why I did it, because I like to challenge myself. I like to do things that's outside of my norm. So yeah, so as I said, it's always been a dream. It's something I've always wanted to do, and I am dedicated to it, and I will make it work eventually, regardless of how long it takes, you know what I mean? So end of the day, I'm doing my bit. I'm doing all the money I can put into it and stuff like that when I can afford it. I'm also learning more about the video editing side of it, and how YouTube works and all that, because you've got to learn about the algorithm and all stuff, and keywords and all sorts of crap. It's way more intense than what I ever thought doing YouTube videos would, believe me. So yeah, like I said, I'm doing all that side of it. That's for me to do. But from you guys, all I could ask, I don't want any of your money, I'm not asking for out like that. All I'm asking for is a couple of seconds of your time. If you want to support and become part of immersion gaming, is to click the like button to say thanks, the thumbs up button basically, underneath our videos and stuff. If you can follow the Immersion Gaming Facebook page, that would be a massive help too. And as I said to you, once it's over 100 followers again, I'll be able to do the live streaming again. I'll be able to play the games live and you can interact with me as and when I'm playing them, instead of just doing pre-recorded ones like I'm having to do now. But the biggest thing of all, as always, if you can subscribe to the Immersion Gaming YouTube channel, that helps this channel out massively. And like I've told you before, when the channel grows, I've got all sorts of ideas to making this channel much more variety for the channel, basically. Loads of different things to do, like giveaways, competitions, frigging game shows, and I want to get a premises where I can invite you guys to come and chill, get on the channel, do some gaming moves and stuff like that. But that's all for the future. You know, at this point, what I need is to gain a following and to work on me and to buy the equipment that I need and stuff as well. So it's just a work in progress at this point. But yeah, if you guys want to support and become part of that, then I would really appreciate it, and you'll be really helping me out big time. And also I just want to take a second out to say thank you to all you guys that have taken the couple of seconds out to join and become part of the Immersion Gaming community. I really appreciate you guys, I really do. I'm not just saying that, and I know I haven't been as involved, but I'm doing a lot of stuff in the background. You know, I'm having to earn the money to make it a reality as well. So obviously when it becomes a full-time job, hopefully if it does, then I'll have a lot more time then to do a lot more stuff with the channel. Just a work in progress at this point. But yeah, thank you guys for those of you that's taken that time out to do that for me. I really appreciate it, and I won't forget it, I promise you I won't. Right, other than that guys, anyway, there with the trailer. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it looks like something you're going to be interested in, and I hope you'll come and join us for episode 1, which I'll be putting on for you tomorrow. So until then guys, take care of yourselves, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye.